We have a lot more power than we think. I go back to the Los Angeles fires. There were about 10 people who bought extra sprinklers for their houses and set up a very inexpensive sort of save the house system. And when they left the property, they turned on all these sprinklers and the houses survived. And a couple of them actually even saved the neighbors' houses this way. In this very simple, minimally expensive, I mean, the cost was peanuts, but they took this action. But the great bulk of the people just were so passive about their own property. So, working with people, I really notice this passivity around taking actions to meet one's own needs or to create more happiness for oneself. There's really nothing stopping us from these small actions for our own well-being. It's sort of like a quiet moment where you realize that nobody else can live your life for you, and it's not safe to lean on too many systems or people and neglect taking action oneself. Yeah, so I almost feel like with people, it's like, in the old days, the Zen masters used to hit students or, hit them with a stick. If they gave a wrong answer, they hit them with a stick. Because you can tell a student, hey, no, you're wrong, you're off track spiritually. But what is really going to motivate them to change is if they know they're going to get hit by a stick. I'm not promoting violence at all. But the same principle in ancient Hawaii, when the shamans, the kahunas, were being trained, a kahuna I studied with told me this story. They used to get dumped 2 miles out at sea, right in shark-infested waters. And, it was like a test. And if you panicked and got scared, the sharks would be attracted and you'd die. So there was real reason to hold on to peace and say a mantra or the equivalent to keep your mind off imagining being eaten by a shark. Like, when push comes to shove, we are responsible for our lives. I mean, we're born into this life, and on our deathbed, we're gonna look at how we've lived it, and we're gonna make decisions about this. Either, we'll be pleased or we'll be disappointed. Personally, I think there are many, many people who just wake up in their deathbed and realize that they snoozed right through their lives. Now, I'm not wanting to upset anybody. I'm just wanting to, a little bit shake awake. Nobody else can live your life but you. And right in your heart is a true knowledge of why you're here, what you came to do, what kind of person you were meant to be. I tell my students, it's in the heart of the child you were. It's like the secret. Yeah, and as you come into love and acceptance of yourself, the truth of you becomes clear, and you can start following kind of a path of breadcrumbs to who you were born to be. But I also really want to highlight something, which is it's the importance of telling the truth to yourself and to others. I'm not talking about, going around telling people brutal truths and hurting them. I'm just talking about staying with the truth of you and speaking from it. Yeah, our conditioning, we might feel like we're not allowed to, especially if there wasn't much truth-telling in our families. But I'll tell you, it's really good for our health. And it's really good for your energy, because part of the reason we're so tired is we're carrying so many emotional defenses, cutting us off from our truth. Yeah. We're almost weighted down with our egos right now. So, but it's a temporary place. You can become lighter. You can move into truth. Just get down to the truth more. Yeah. Okay. Bless your hearts. You know, the Creator loves us. Yeah. We're here to learn. It isn't easy. The earth is considered like a difficult challenge, like going to an Ivy League school. But the quality of the education that the soul gets is highly valued after completion. After we get through it, we'll be pleased. Okay, bless your hearts.